Stephen Vincent Benet, the mountain whippoorwill. Up in the mountains, it's lonesome all the time. Soft wind slewing through the sweet potato vine. Up in the mountains, it's lonesome for a child, and the whippoorwills are calling when the sap runs wild. Up in the mountains in the fog, everything's as lazy as an old hound dog. I was born in the mountains. I never raised a pet. I don't want nothing and never got it yet. Up in the mountains, lonesome born, raised running ragged through the cockleburs and corn. I never had a pappy, I maybe never should. I think he was a fiddle made of mountain laurel wood. I never had a mammy to teach me pretty please. I think she was a whippoorwill, a skitting through the trees. I never had a brother, nor a whole pair of pants. But when I start to fiddle, well, you got to start to dance. Listen to my fiddle, kingdom come, hear them frogs a-chunkin'. Jug-a-rum, jug-a-rum. Hear that mountain whippoorwill be lonesome in the air. And I'll tell you how I traveled to the Essex County Fair. Now, Essex County has a mighty purty fair. All the smarty fiddlers from the south come there. Elbows are flying as they rosin up their bows for the first prize contest in the Georgia Fiddlers Show. There's old Dan Whelan with his whiskers in his ears, kingpin fiddler for nearly 20 years. Big Tom Sargent with his blue wall eye, and little Jimmy Weezer that can make a fiddle cry. All sitting around, spitting high, strutting proud. Listen, little whippoorwill, you gotta bug your eye. Tuning, tuning, tuning. Now the judges told the crowd that them that got the mostest claps will win the bestest prize. Everybody's waiting for the first Tweedledee, when in comes a stumbling hillbilly me. I bowed right purty to the judges and the rest. I took a silver dollar from a hole inside my vest. I plunked it on the table, said, "There's my calling card. Anyone who licks me is going to have to fiddle hard." Old Dan Whelan was laughing fit to holler. Little Jimmy Weezer said, "There's one dead dollar." Big Tom Sargent had a yellow toothy grin, but I tucked my little whippoorwill spine underneath my chin. I petted it and tuned it till the judges said, "Begin." Big Tom Sargent was first in line. He could fiddle all the bugs off a sweet potato vine. He could fiddle down a squirrel from a mile-high tree. He could fiddle up a whale from the bottom of the sea. You could hear them hands a-spanking till they spanked each other raw when he finished with variations on Turkey in the Straw. Little Jimmy Weezer was next to play. He could fiddle all night. He could fiddle all day. He could fiddle chills. He could fiddle fever. He could make a fiddle rustle like a lowland river. He could make a fiddle croon like a loving woman. They'd clap like thunder when he finished strumming. Next came the ruck of the bobtail fiddlers, the let's go easies and the fair to middlers. They stood up and did their bicker, then settled back for some more corn liquor. The crowd was tired of their no-count squealing. And out in the center stepped old Dan Whelan. He started fiddling nice and low. "Listen, little whippoorwill, you gotta spread your wings." He fiddled with a cherrywood bow. Old Dan Whelan's got bee honey in them strings. He fiddled the wind by the lonesome moon. He fiddled a most almighty tune. He started fiddling like a host. He ended fiddling like a ghost. He fiddled here, he fiddled there. He fiddled salvation everywhere. And when he got finished, the crowd cut loose. And Whippoorwill, there was rain in your breast. I sat there thinking, what's the use? Little Whippoorwill, fly home to your nest. But I stood up, pert, took my bow, and fiddle went to my shoulder, so. There wasn't no crowd to get me phased. But I was alone where I was raised, up in the mountains so still. It makes you scared where God lies sleeping in his great white beard. I heard the sound of the squirrel and the pine. I heard the earth breathing through the long nighttime. And I thought, they fiddled sinful and they fiddled moral, but they haven't fiddled the brushwood laurel. They fiddled the rose and they fiddled the thorn, but they haven't fiddled the mountain corn. So I started off with a dong diddle dumpling. Hell's broke loose in Georgia. Skunk cabbage growing by a big old stump. Whippoorwill, you're singing now. My mother was a whippoorwill, but my father, he was lazy. Hell's broke loose in a new store shirt to fiddle all Georgia crazy. Grab your partners and give them some action now. Woo! Listen up. Flapjack's cooking on a red-hot griddle, firing the mountain snakes in the grass. Satan's here a bally, Lordy, let him pass. Go down, Moses, set my people free. Pop goes a weasel to the old Red Sea. Jonah sitting on a hickory bough. Up jumps the whale, and where's your prophet now? Rabbit in a pea patch, possum in the pot. Try and stop my fiddle, now my fiddle's getting hot. Whippoorwill's singing in a mountain hush. Whippoorwill's shouting at a burning bush. Whippoorwill's crying at the stable door. Sing tonight as you never sang before. Hell's broke loose like a stomping mountain shoat. Sing till you bust the gold in your throat. Sing on the mountains, little Whippoorwill. Sing with the valleys and slap 'em with a hill. For I'm floating high as an eagle's quill. And hell's broke loose in Georgia. There wasn't one sound when I finished bowing. Whippoorwill, you can't sing no more. Somewhere other the dawn was growing. I sat there thinking, I fiddled all night and lost. I'm a good hillbilly, but I have been bossed. So I went to congratulate old man Dan, but he put his fiddle into my hand. And then the noise of the crowd began. Okay, let's go. Jump up, come on. Up and over.